With Andy's obviously sitting right there. We've got a big fight in a couple weeks. How does that fight play out with Andy and Arreola?
I like Chris. I like Andy. I think it's a good fight, but Andy's too young and too fresh. Andy wins however he wants to.
We have Andy Ruiz. Ruiz. My apologies. Who's going to be stepping back in the ring and with yes.
They're both great guys, both friends. Nightmare. He's a fighter that comes to fight. And it's gonna be a good fight for the fans.
But you're friends with both of them?
Yeah, I'm friends with both of them.
Okay, so hence that's why you just stopped talking.
I just wanna,
Do you notice that? He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a good fight for the fans."
May the best man win. You're right there.
May the best man win.
Yeah.
But you can't break it down.
But I know it's gonna be a good fight. They both, come forward. Andy comes forward. Arreola comes forward. They're gonna be, going back and forth. It's gonna be a great war.
Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola, they're the main event. Can you give me your prediction on that fight? And just when you see from both fighters from the outside looking in, I know you're not in their camp, but they both look very good, like maybe career best shape for both of them.
I could be wrong, but I like Chris. Chris Arreola is a great person. He's a great fighter. I've known him for many years. Andy Ruiz, I used to train Andy Ruiz. Actually, Andy Ruiz, if I'm not mistaken, I was his first trainer when he turned pro.
I didn't know that.
Because, when he left the amateurs, he used to live in El Centro. He moved to Indio, and I trained him there for a while. And that was early in his career, before he even turned pro, I think. And then from there, he came to LA, and he started training with other trainers, But Andy Ruiz has a lot of heart. The difference in this fight is this. It's a great matchup, but the only downfall on Arreola is his inactivity. That's it. Even though he's in great shape, he looks great, he looks physically great, but inactivity hurts you a lot. Even though Andy hasn't been fighting constantly, but he's been the more active fighter. He's a younger fighter. That's the only factor that benefits Andy Ruiz in this fight. Depending on Arreola's mentality, but he's tough. Arreola is, even though he's an older fighter and he's more on the end of his career, he can still fight. Yeah. He can surprise you. If Andy Ruiz is taking him light, he can get a big surprise. But honestly, in the long run, activity, inactivity, and age, I think Andy Ruiz should take this fight.
Fighters come and go in camps. When you always get them the first training camp, can you really teach them a lot and then have them actually do it in the ring like Andy Ruiz is working with Canelo's team? How much more improvement do you think we're going to see from Andy Ruiz? Maybe the same, the old, better, or?
On a heavyweight fighter is different. All you have to do, heavyweight fighters, you train them. I have a couple of heavyweights in my camp right now, and I noticed that those heavyweights, you train them differently. It's about more power, more being more aggressive. It's not about throwing punches in volume. It's about being effective. The change, I'm pretty sure Eddie Reynoso did his job, even though it's his first fight with Andy. I'm pretty sure that the job was done right. Because they train hard, and Eddie's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he got the proper sparring, and he advised him well. So, it's going to take a couple of fights for a trainer and a fighter to adapt.
Yeah.
I've seen it with me. It takes about 2 to 3 fights in order for chemistry and understanding and learning the voices of command. But, on the first one, you should be fine.
And next is the main event, Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola. Can you give me your thoughts on the fight?
I have Ruiz. Ruiz is fast. He's too fast. And now he has this new coach with Canelo. I'm pretty sure he's getting a lot of knowledge from them. So it's exciting for him. I think he's going to go back and become world champion again.
How do you have that fight going?
I think it's going to be a actually very exciting matchup. Both come to fight. Both have lots to prove. And a win Saturday night for either one can mean big things, potentially a world title shot. Chris is a warrior. I've seen him, we've all seen him. Came up short the times that he fought for a title, so he's probably on his last run for a title opportunity, and this is it. This is the opportunity. If he pulls this off on Saturday, then he could potentially land a big fight. So I think he could possibly be very motivated because he could see this as probably the last opportunity for him, in his career. And on the other hand, I think Andy is also very motivated. I think Andy wants to prove to everybody that he's back, that he's motivated, that he's dedicated, disciplined, and that his victory over Joshua 2 years ago was not just a fluke, that it wasn't just luck. So in order to do so, he's got to go through Chris, and I think being that both have so much, to win, I think that adds, to the elements, to make a great matchup. It's gonna be action-packed all night.
So, are you leaning towards one or the other?
I mean, I think it's gonna be a very good matchup for the first 4 or 5 rounds. They're gonna be competitive rounds, and then we'll see who starts to pull away. I think Andy probably pulls away a little more, and I could see Andy win. But I mean, during the first 3-4 rounds like that, it's gonna be tough because Chris comes to fight and he's strong, he's big. He's not afraid. He's got nothing to be worried about. He's here to win. So, like I said, I see Andy maybe pulling it off, but I mean, for the rounds of earlier rounds, it's gonna be very close.
This card here, man, the main event, Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola, is carrying the entire pay-per-view. What do you expect from both fighters, man? It seems like both of them are in career best shape, and they put in a lot of good work, man. They're looking physically good. Mentally, they're saying all the right things. Who do you give the edge to? How do you see this fight playing out?
Man, I don't know. I'm excited, because like you commented, it's definitely, it looks like the best fight they've both ever been prepared for. They're both in the best shape that I've ever seen them in their careers. It's exciting, I mean, we've over the years the Mexican has developed, and now we have heavyweight, so that's good. I'm happy for that. Obviously, Andy Ruiz, the first Mexican heavyweight of Mexican descent. Chris Arreola has been a great ambassador for us to be the first big-time heavyweight, that we had. So, I'm a fan of both of them, and I'm looking forward to watching that fight as well. May the best man win.
Please get, your thoughts on Arreola and Ruiz,
I know both of them are my friends. I think that I'm not going to definitely comment because, I'm not, because both of them are my friends. May the best man win.
Just tell us about this fight here on Saturday.
It's going to be a good one, man. I think that... I think that when you first look at it, you say there's no titles on the line. There's a lot of reasons why people will look at it and say it's not a pay-per-view fight. But then when you take a look at the entire lineup, there's nothing but action from beginning to end. And at the end of the day, that's what boxing fans, boxing enthusiasts want to see. And so I think that definitely gonna get your money's worth. From the moment you buy this card. I think people should tune into the whole card. I think it's gonna be an exciting night.
I know you're not in their camp, but if you've seen their results, they look very good. Both of them very slim. They put in a lot of good work with good trainers. Who do you give the edge to in this kind of fight, man?
I give it to Andy. I just think that he's got youth on his side. He hasn't been in wars the way that Chris Arreola has been in. And I think that for the second words, his body's more preserved. And I think beyond that, I think that he's got a little more skill, a little more technique than Chris does. I told Ray back here that I'd be excited to see Chris win this fight. I'm friends with both guys, but just something about Chris. He's a dynamite dude. It'd be nice to see him pull up the amazing upset. We get a rematch, and that'd be even bigger and even more amazing night, in a rematch. So, but saying all that, I do think that this is gonna be a fight that